Welcome back. Chiney and Matt still in the house from their respective houses. We got a lot of houses going on here at the Jump. On Saturday night, friends, the Celtics do get their first crack at the defending champs after coming up just short in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Heat last season. Boston 10-6 this season, tied for second place out east right now. So, Matt, are the Celtics better overall this season than they were last year?
I think they are. I love the addition of Tristan Thompson, someone who's going to pay dividends come playoff time, a proven banger, big body, does the dirty work, because I think they were a little, needed some help there last year. I think the key to this team, obviously with Tatum and Brown being one of the best young duos we've seen in the game, they need consistent play and consistency, and Kemba Walker to be healthy, I feel like, for this team to get over the hump. He's been a little in and out and then had some times of inconsistency. So I think in order for this team to take the next step, which is possibly playing in the finals, they need Kemba Walker to be healthy and playing his best basketball.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. And, you say consistency, and I'm going with another synonym, continuity, because once they have that, they will definitely, the Celtics, take that next step. Because if you think about it, they went from having, Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward and Al Horford to now not having any of those guys. Plus, Kemba, their guy, has been in and out of the lineup, and I'm so glad that he's finally back now because he's been looking great on the perimeter. But now we finally know, and this is for the continuity's sake, we finally know that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, those are your primary options, and the formula is, albeit slow, still working. Jason Tatum, his numbers are like career highs in almost every category, and Jaylen Brown, every year he gets better. He adds another skill, and that's the trajectory that will make them compete. So they still have some things to figure out. Like you said, Tristan Thompson in the paint, providing that rim protection and just easy finishes helps. But it's going to be interesting to see how they evolve, because it will take a little bit more for them to compete against the bigs that the Lakers have, or the Bucks have in Giannis, or a 76ers team with an Embiid that's looking like an MVP. They're almost there. They are better, but it might take a little bit more fine-tuning for them to actually take down one of those giants as well.
No, that's a great point. It's been one of the questions about the Celtics roster. It's a good point you also make about evolution and Jaylen Brown in specific. Matt, what is it with Jaylen Brown? We all see the numbers, we watch him, but from a basketball player's perspective, when you're down on the court, what are some of the little things that you notice Jaylen Brown doing that's getting better and better, that he's had such a breakout season?
He's just a student of the game. And, Kobe used to say, you add a piece each summer. And it sounds like that's something Jaylen Brown has been doing. He's added, the in-between game. He has a post-up game. Obviously very explosive when he gets to the basket. Starting to become a more consistent three-point shooter. And what I like about him is he plays defense. So Jaylen Brown is definitely making waves. And he should definitely be considered if we have an all-star game as an all-star this year, because he's been killing, the time that Jason Tatum was out because of contact tracing. Jaylen Brown has really stepped up. So I'm excited to see the evolution of these guys continuing to play together and really getting, like Janae said, getting their rhythm and their chemistry together, because they have a lot of different talented parts. But once they all come together and get some time together under their belt, that's where we're going to see the best Celtics team.
Yeah, for sure. And Jaylen Brown's
Jaylen is from Georgia, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
You wanted to point that out,
yeah,
huh?
She had to get that. She had to get that in.
Well, we're talking about an all-star game that's almost in Atlanta. Come on now. So, of course, this would be the time.
I get it. I will say, by the way, even if they don't have the game, they are going to pick all-stars. We will get to that a little bit later in the show. And I just want to make the point about Jaylen is he's obviously someone everyone and anyone in the league has had their eye on for years, because he is such a talent, jumps off the court. But I think it's fascinating to see how he has kept adding to his game. And his name has been mentioned in the most improved player category, which, again, there's some voters who just don't like voting for a player that was that accomplished already to then add more, and they like to save that for a younger player. I am someone who likes to use my vote for, if someone made a jump, they made a jump, no matter what stage of their career they're in.
Period.
I am interested in seeing how Jaylen Brown continues to make this jump this season. All right, let's talk about the Hawks, because they beat the Clippers 108-99 last night. PG and Kawhi were both out due to COVID protocols. But let's give some love to Atlanta. They've won 4 of their past 5 games. During that stretch, we've seen great performances from Trae Young, Clint Capella. Chiney, are the Hawks taking a big step forward this season, or are they still a year away?
Since we talk about Atlanta, it reminds me of, the versus the versus battle, so I say, okay, that was one of my favorites. Anyways, Trae Young, clearly he's a bucket. but he desperately needed some help on the perimeter too. I remember last season, no player outside of Trey on the perimeter averaged more than like double digits, around like 12 points. And so now they have DeAndre Hunter, talking about players that have improved, taking a big step forward. You add in a guy like Danilo Gallinari and Bogdan Bogdanovic, which was a nice little random boost that they got, in the middle of that trade, which will help with that. And you know me, I'm going to go back to my Houston people. Clint Capella, he anchors the inside. And so the Atlanta Hawks, they're really building something special. And when it comes together, it might take time. I think that they will really compete, led by, obviously, Trae Young.
Yeah, I think they're still a year away, but they were my surprise team out of the East this year, and I think they're in the 6th slot right now. And one thing that's not overlooked is Rajon Rondo's presence. Although he's been in and out of the lineup, having him on the show, that was the one thing that I asked him is, you know, all these young guys are trying to soak up game from him. So he's over there coaching these guys up, whether he's on the court or not. And you know what time it is when it's playoff time. So look for this team to definitely make some noise this year. I still feel like they're possibly a year away from really making noise, but I see them definitely getting a chance to be in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'd be interesting, again, how that play-in scenario, the 7 through 10 slot, does that help them because that maybe they'll need that help to get in? Does it hurt them because maybe they would have been in already and then some team comes to challenge them? We'll have to see where they end up in the standings at the end of the year. All right, guys, Chiney has to get ready for the Chiney and Golic radio show because you apparently cannot have a radio show called Chiney and Golic without Chiney. So thank you for joining us today,
I do like hanging with y'all.
I'm just saying. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.